911, what is the emergency?
I want to report a kidnapping. My husband stole my kids.
Okay, just a minute, ma'am. You say your husband took your kids?
Yes, we're divorced and he picked up the kids while I was at work and he's taking them to Phoenix. I'm here at home and they're gone.
Okay, ma'am. Are you sure he took them and they're not with a friend? Or maybe other neighbors?
No, he called me at work and he said that he was going to pick them up. Please come, I don't know what to do.
The scenario you just heard is an example of one of the most challenging and difficult calls you will handle as a peace officer. Child abduction and concealment has grown in recent years, and the need for peace officers to handle the call correctly and with prudence is critical for its conclusion. Did you know about 25,000 children are reported missing in Los Angeles County each year? Nearly 500 of them were victims of parental or family abduction. Now, these children with little or no chance of help are permanently and deeply affected by the event. And with that said, what can you do to help prevent child abduction or concealment from destroying a child's future? How can you avoid contributing to a public's perception of an unresponsive system? The answer? Have a thorough understanding of state laws as it pertains to parental and family abduction and child custody.
Okay, officer, my ex-husband has taken my kids. I've checked everywhere, they're gone.
Okay, where's your husband? Is he inside with you now or around so I can check up on him?
He doesn't live here anymore. He lives in Phoenix.
Okay, 1 second.
I know that he's taken them. I know that he has.
Okay,
oh my
1 second.
God. Oh my
40 David?
What am I going to do?
40 David, 48 Adam requesting 1 unit backup. We're in my possible 920C. 48 Adam? 1 second, man. I got units coming up here. I need to ask you some questions. I need you to calm down. What I need to know, what I need to hear from you, where were you when your children were taken?
I was at work and I got a call and my husband said that he was gonna pick them up. I know he's taking them to his parents. I know that he is. He's threatened me before.
1 second. Okay, now you say you was divorced. Now, is it final? Is it final? And do you have legal custody of the children?
No, we haven't been to court yet, but the kids belong with me.
Okay.
They should be with me. My kids should be. They should be with me.
Okay. 1 second. Let me get some information from you, okay? 1 second. Okay, 1 second. Okay, now, I would need to get some clarity on the custody rights, okay? But now let's deal with the children first and their safety. Now, whose care was the children in when your husband picked them up?
They were at school.
Okay, and then what are their names?
Sam and Zach Woodard.
Okay, and their ages?
Zach is 4 and Sam is 6.
And which school were they in?
They should both be at the Arc Daycare in Monterey Park.
What do we got?
They're checking on the daycare for the kids. The mother got a call from the ex. He said he was taking the kids. Mark's still getting the information.
Okay. How old are the kids? 4 and 6.
Hey, Sarge. Hey, according to her, the father of the kids might have taken the kids to Phoenix, where they're living now, where he's living now. She does not have any custody paperwork, and also the father threatened to take the kids in the past.
Okay, now Deputy Ramirez told me the boys were 4 and 6.
4 and 6.
Yes, sir. 4 and 6.
We haven't checked with the neighbors or the house yet, right?
No, sir, not yet, sir.
Okay. Don't worry, ma'am. We're gonna get your boys back to you.
Sarge, I just got off the phone with the daycare and they're saying that it's the father. They do have a surveillance video and someone's already on their way to drop it off so that we can view it.
Okay, good job.
Now, believe it or not, situations like this happen every day. Now, are you aware of the procedures you should follow in the penal codes that relate to this call? This program will assist you with the areas you need to know in order to handle these calls to their conclusion. Now, in short, we'll present to you an overview of key points that address child abduction and concealment and the initial action needed to prevent poor or misleading information regarding missing persons reports.
Out in the field, it's very common for law enforcement personnel to receive a missing child call. As a first responder, when I receive these calls, I begin to create a tactical visualization in my mind. I ask myself, what are the circumstances behind this missing child? Who was the last person to see the child? And if this child is missing, does this situation meet the criteria for a critical missing? At the scene, as with most of these calls, I expect emotion to be high and very intense. Once I am able to assess the situation by gathering the initial facts, if the child is in danger, my most important priority becomes the safety of the child. If the child is a parental abduction, it is crucial for me to establish the status of custody rights at the time of the abduction and meticulously gather information to establish if the child is a critical missing. If it is a critical missing, the information I gather from the witnesses, parents, and assisting units are vital in the continued investigation. When conducting the initial search for the child, it is important to obtain the most recent photo for distribution to the assisting units and detectives. In addition to immediately searching the residence, it is also a good idea to search the local parks, schools, and homes of friends. The next step in these intense, highly emotional situations is to write the missing person reports. One report on the child and one report on the abductor, and have them both entered into NCIC system as soon as possible. As with all calls I respond to, I will review my actions and reports and ask myself, have I done everything? Has the department done everything to assist this family in the safe return of their child?
As a first responder, you should recognize that your primary responsibility is to protect the safety and well-being of the child. Abduction is not a harmless offense involving two people who are arguing over who loves the child more, but a form of child abuse with many negative consequences. The areas we will deal with are child abduction, out-of-state child abduction and concealment, and protective custody. A missing person in California is defined as someone whose whereabouts is unknown to the reporting party. Regarding children, this includes the following instances: a child who has run away, a child who is taken involuntarily, or a child in need of assistance. A child taken, held, or hidden illegally by a parent or non-parent family member is considered a missing person and should be treated as one.
A key thing to remember about missing persons is that a parent is not required to have a court order to report a child that has been taken by the other parent or a non-parent family member. When encountering a situation with a missing child, a missing persons report has no waiting period and should be accepted without delay regardless of jurisdiction. All law enforcement agencies in California must, and without exception, accept any missing persons report. This includes telephone reports of a missing child.
Okay, Mrs. Witter, per the current information that we have, we're going to begin a missing person report based on the evidence of the surveillance camera.
Thank you. Thank you.
When a child is abducted, your initial actions are important to the outcome of the case and the safety of the child. Now, your understanding of the use of California's Penal Code 278.5 is critical to your preliminary investigation. Now, if you conclude that a child has been abducted and a crime has occurred, this information will assist you in the criteria necessary to initiate an Amber Alert. Let's look at California Penal Code 278.5 and what it says.
Every person who takes, entices away, keeps, withholds, or conceals a child and maliciously deprives a lawful custodian of a right to custody or a person's right to visitation shall be punished in the county jail not exceeding 1 year or state prison for 16 months or 2 or 3 years.
Now, what are the key elements of Penal Code 278.5 that you should clearly understand?
Every person having a right to custody, who takes, entices away, keeps, withholds, or conceals any child, maliciously deprives a lawful custodian of the right to custody or visitation.
To better understand the key elements and use of Penal Code 278.5 more effectively, you should know and clearly understand the definition of all terms. And we find these definitions and explanations from another penal code, Penal Code 277. Let's take the first term.
Right to custody.
The right of physical care, custody, and control of a child pursuant to a custody order.
Abduct.
To take, entice away, keep, withhold, or conceal.
Withhold.
To retain physical possession of a child, whether or not the child resists or objects.
Visitation.
The time for access to the child allotted to any person by custody order.
Custody order.
A custody determination, decree, judgment, or order issued by a court of competent jurisdiction, whether permanent or temporary, initial or modified, that affects the custody or visitation of a child.
Lawful custodian.
The person, guardian, or public agency that has a right to custody of the child. Once again, understanding these terms and using them to determine whether a child has been abducted and/or concealed is critical for your decision-making and the safety of the child. Once you fully grasp the purpose and function of Penal Code 278.5, it is important to use sound investigation tools when gathering preliminary information to determine the circumstances around a missing child and possible abduction.
First responders to a parental child abduction need to consider it a priority call. An abduction at the hands of someone the child knows and trusts can possibly lead to abuse, placing the child in immediate danger. Important points law enforcement must remember in these critical situations are: a missing person or child report must be accepted regardless of jurisdiction and shall be completed in addition to the criminal incident report detailing the parental child abduction. These calls for service once again require a priority response. A be on the lookout, also known as BOLO broadcast, shall be made without delay if the missing child is under 16 years of age or there is evidence that the child is at risk. The missing person or child report is to be immediately entered into the National Crime Information Center, or the NCIC system, as an abducted child. A missing person report should be taken on the abducting parent in addition to the report taken for the child. Include in the report a vehicle description. That way a hit will come back in the missing person system if the parent is run by law enforcement. This information is important because it may be the only hit in the system until a warrant is issued, which may take 2 weeks or longer. And last, determine if the missing child fits the mandatory criteria for an Amber Alert.
For a more concise list of steps that you should follow, contact your training office for guidance. And naturally, the process of obtaining a timely and thorough report, like all your duties, is critical for the investigation. Now, hopefully your diligence will have a positive effect on the outcome of the case and a safe return of the child to the legal guardian.
Excuse me.
Yeah, can I help you?
Do you know if the Chung family is home?
No, she moved out about a month ago. She lost her job and went to live with an uncle in Vegas.
Are you sure? I was here a month ago and everything was fine.
Oh yeah, no, she rented a moving van, packed up the kid, the furniture, and left.
Did she leave a phone number or a forwarding address?
No, she said her brother would come by, take care of the house, and forward the mail to her. Is there a problem?
Well, that's why I'm here. I'm trying to find out.
One area regarding child abduction and concealment that is often misunderstood is the role of the social worker from the Department of Children and Family Services, or DCFS.
When a dependent child of the court is abducted by a parent or legal guardian, a children's social worker will report the abduction to law enforcement. At that time, it is important for law enforcement to clearly understand the rights of the social worker and their obligation to act. Occasionally, children's social workers have encountered difficulties when requesting a missing persons report and a parental abduction report from law enforcement. It is important that law enforcement assist DCFS and that they both work together and understand each other's roles with abduction cases and immediately begin an investigation to ensure the child's safety. One of the critical steps that needs to occur without delay is the immediate entry of the information into the NCIC system.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Sandra Childs, the DCFS social worker.
Okay.
And I need some help with one of my cases.
What can I help you with?
Well, I had a court-ordered appointment at this location to check on a child that lives there.
Mm-hmm.